Hunter Biden caught on tape bragging about being the son of Joe Biden in newly leaked audio from his infamous laptop. Listen.
He'll talk about anything that I want him to, that he believes in. If I say this is important to me, then he will work a way in which to make it a part of his platform. My dad respects me more than he respects anyone in the world. And I have the support to know I can do anything.
Joe Concha joins us now. And Joe, because of this audio, some people are calling Hunter Biden Joe Biden's #1 advisor.
Wow. I can do anything I want, is what Hunter Biden is saying, and his actions actually prove it. Right, guys? I mean, you look at this audio, it's incredible. The laptop from hell, it strikes again. And of course, we're going to be the only network talking about this morning, right? Just imagine if Donald Trump Jr. had a laptop like this and was saying the things that Hunter Biden is saying. Now, fortunately, there is a federal investigation happening as we speak, and when the Republican Party takes back the House in November, after the midterms, you can be sure as you were born that there will be hearings not only into Hunter Biden, but the president's brother and James Biden and the president himself, the alleged big guy who took 10% of the profits from shady and possibly illegal dealings overseas. But I just find it incredible that the reporting on this is going to be so minimal and is almost a complete blackout. It really is the third rail of journalism. Thou shall not report on anything that Hunter Biden says about his dad or any of his dealings overseas. That includes places like China, our biggest adversary, and places like Ukraine that's currently in a war, and in Russia as well. It's a huge story. No one's talking about it, guys.
And it continues to be hidden no matter how salacious the Post, the New York Post, I should say, their reporting turns out to be. It's like the worse their reporting gets, the less the media covers. One thing the media is covering now, starting to question if President Biden should seek re-election come 2024. Here they are, finally coming to Jesus. Listen.
Think that he should run for re-election. How come?
A lot of Democrats don't believe that. They're convinced he's not going to run.
Assuming Joe Biden, given his age, decides not to run again in 2024.
Does the president have the stamina, physically and mentally, do you think, to continue on?
Joe, why now? Why did the media suddenly realize, oh, wait, Joe Biden's old?
Because when you're polling in the 20s on inflation, you're polling in the 20s on your handling of gas prices, and you're polling in the 20s on your handling of the border or lack thereof, and when crime is skyrocketing, and when the country is going patently in the wrong direction, when 24% of Democrats believe that the country is on the right path, 1/4, that's when you know you have problems. David Axelrod probably had the most damning quote when it comes to the president and his age. He says that if Joe Biden runs and somehow wins, then, and I'm paraphrasing here, he'll be closer to 90 in his second term than he will be to 80. And obviously, we see Joe Biden approaching the age of 80, being too slow, too old. And, you know, the incompetency has always been there with Joe Biden. Let's face it, if you look back over his 50-year career in politics, and look, when you look at the numbers historically that are lining up right now for the midterms, it looks horrible for the Democratic Party, because Bill Clinton and Barack Obama, they were polling 5 to 7 points higher than this president is right now, and Clinton lost 54 seats and Barack Obama lost 63. So if that's the case, how many is Joe Biden going to lose polling where he is? 70? I mean, it's gonna be an absolute tsunami when we talk about the midterms. And remember, Bill Clinton and Barack Obama, they were in their 40s, right, when they were president. Joe Biden's approaching 80, and those guys didn't have the perception that, you know, they're too old and they don't have the mental sharpness for the job. This one does. And when you have that perception, guys, that's an almost impossible perception to undo at this point.
Yeah,
Carly,
it's not just the media. It's also Democrats who are running for office right now who don't want the president to campaign with them. So they say the Democratic Party is a big tent. It's filled with a lot of people who are questioning their leader.
Right.
Joe
Concha.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow morning, guys.
All
Take
right,
care.
sounds good.